how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Jersey all day, baby.
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Welcome into another Red Out Podcast. I'm Devin. We got Jared and Ross in studio. Jake's not able to make it tonight. He did not survive the blizzard of 2019.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Jake. Now he'll be back
Sounds
next
a little
week.
soft to me.
Yeah. He'll be back next week. Life comes in the way sometimes of our Western love. Winners this week. I got Western beating... not Western. UK beating Vandy, which, I mean, they should have. Did Louisville win this week?
They won. They beat NC State, and
There we go.
they're like up to number 15. So they're doing. I think both the two power schools are peaking right now. Honestly,
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, if all the schools are winning, we're all winning. Loser this week, I've got Matt Bevin.
Absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned,
I've got Marshall.
Okay, that'll work too.
50 points on the road.
We'll touch that in just a second. My only rant with Matt Bevin is, why, dude? Why did you have to feel the need to come out and say something? Just let it ride.
Teachers don't like him as it is anyways,
Yeah.
So he's just digging himself deeper with that whole situation, which isn't very smart, but, whatever.
I agree with you, Jared. Whatever your political feelings for him, set those aside, but at the same time, it's like, dude, just let it go. He was on Good Morning America or something.
There's a lot of impoverished people in, a lot of these rural counties, like in Evanston County, Muhlenberg County, even Simpson County, where I'm at. It's sad. Some parents don't have enough money to afford to give their kid a good heavy jacket to wait out at the bus or anything, so you have to think about stuff like that when you're in the position that he's in.
Even the superintendents, those kids, they've got, let's say, okay, when I was in college, there was a school bus stranded on Cumberland Trace in Bowling Green. Okay, y'all know where that is. That's basically right by the Harley-Davidson dealership. That is crazy that they got stranded. So for him to kind of open his mouth and say, well, this is ridiculous, blah, 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 I'm like, these superintendents are trying to avoid, kids getting hurt, potential lawsuits, yada, yada, yada. So let's just let them make that decision and you just do you. Okay, Marshall. Ross, I'm off my high horse. Let you talk a little bit about...
I don't like that we went into politics, period, on the podcast, but Marshall, getting blown out by 50 against a mediocre Southern Miss team, that, as pissed off as I was about the Western loss to Louisiana Tech, that at least was a little silver line through the clouds, just something where we could all laugh at the herd, and we, as Western, we might blow leads or something like that, but we haven't gotten embarrassed by anything close to that point at this junction this season. So we got that going for us.
Yeah. Let me see here. I'm going to pull up that. Knock on wood, as superstitious as I am, I'm hoping Western, thanks. I'm hoping Western does not get into that boat. I think we did that in football, but luckily not in basketball. Good gosh, you were right, buddy. With USM throwing up 50 points on them. Good gosh.
Southern Miss isn't a good team either. It's one thing, they got blown out by 30 to Virginia, who's a top 5 team, but Southern Miss in a probably empty gym, that's just embarrassing.
If you look records-wise, USM is 11-9 overall, 3-5 in conference. Marshall is 5-3 in conference and 12-9 overall. So you're just like, really?
We can all talk about just Conference USA, just Old Dominion's epic collapse at UTSA as well. How many points were they up with 8 minutes left, like 16 or 17 points, and
Yeah, they were at least 16.
UTSA came all the way back to win the game with on a buzzer beater or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. Was that
It
right?
was like a last-second three. They took I feel like 7 threes in a row in that last 3-minute stretch, and they made just about every single one up.
Yeah, the Franklin Wi-Fi is striking again. Kind of getting you in and out there a little bit, Jared, but it's all good. I feel like we had a little red out curse, knock on wood. We talked about the Lady Tops last time. We hadn't talked about them in a while. And they went out and lost to USM. 69-56. Then, of course, they come back and beat La Tech 81-76. So that's I don't know if, to quote Jake, as Ross has been doing, if they came out and kind of peed on their leg against USM, but they, because, USM is nowhere near what Western is right now in conference. But
what are we on? What are we on the season now in conference play? Like 7-1?
For the ladies, we are 6-1.
Yeah.
We're one game back from first, and we're 12-9 overall. USM is 3-5, 11-10 overall, and they're 4.5 games back. So the ladies have
not
to
a
work
great,
out for them.
especially at home. That's not a good loss, but especially how we started the season. You're sitting at 6-1, and with just like the men's team now. Everything's about gearing up towards the conference tournament. Right now, we're in great shape where we're going to be a top 4 seed. And, if you had told us that after, that horrific non-conference schedule, I think we all would have taken where we're at right now. So, take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I think they've got a pretty good chance of coming out, top dog in Conference USA. The next 2 games, they play UTSA tomorrow night, and they're 1-6 in conference, 6-13 overall, and UTEP is 1-6 overall and 4-16. 1-6 conference and 4-16 overall. Sorry.
So take care of the business on the road.
Exactly. They take care of business. I think we'll be just fine.
Definitely don't want to lose to UTEP. Now that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I saw a stat on the Bowling Green Daily News. We've never won in El Paso on the ladies' side. So
really,
this was the year to break that streak. We've only played them twice in El Paso or in San Antonio, but if this was the year to break the streak, you said what, 1-5? Just take care of business.
Exactly. Let's take care of business, and I think the ladies will be just fine. Now, I guess kind of the meat of the story here is the men's beating Southern Miss, which they should have, and then losing to La Tech 62-50 in probably one of the most disappointing losses this season. What do you all think? What are your thoughts on this?
It's definitely pretty sad the way they showed up against Louisiana Tech. Especially in the first half, that was definitely kind of a struggle, but it was a struggle all around. But Louisiana Tech is a hard place to play in Ruston. I think they're 12-0 now at home. They haven't lost there all season, so they know how to take care of business in their own place, which any good team should be able to do. But, a lot of turnovers, a lot of just terrible shooting from downtown, and at least we beat USM and Marshall.
Yes, and we didn't get killed by USM like Marshall. Ross, what are your thoughts?
To me, I'll kind of go on to this, but it was just a giant missed opportunity. We played some superior defense against them a lot of the game. The first half was just amazing. We were up. It was, like you said, it was an ugly game, 28-21. We had a 7-point halftime lead, and then familiar problems coming out of the break in the second half. Turnovers, just quick shots, and that lead turned into what, like a 12-point Louisiana Tech lead in probably 5 minutes in the second half. It was just crazy. I was making dinner for my family and listening to it on the radio after watching the first half on TV, and I was like, what the heck is happening? And then, Josh Anderson was in foul trouble. Tavion had an awful game. Really nothing was going right in the second half at all, and it was really just disheartening to see. The thing is, if we would have when we would have been a game back in the loss column with UAB, UTSA, and I think one other team in front of us, and we play all of them the next couple of weeks. So there's a golden opportunity to really turn that corner, and it's just, every time we get the chance to take that step forward, we take 2 steps back, and it's just disheartening sometimes. It's just frustrating, and then 11-10 on the season. It's just, I don't know what you can say about that.
They're young guys. That's basically what I'm going to say. Is they're young, they're learning. But you would hope by this time of year that they would, we would be ironing out the rough spots. As Ross is talking about here, I'm looking through, and at one point, Western was down by 11 with 12:26 to go in the second. Western pulled it within 2 points.
2.
Yeah, with 4:54 left, and then La Tech just kind of cruised away.
They hit a 3, and that was the backbreaker. If you're going to come back from a deficit, you got to come all the way back, and that's kind of what did us in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like Jared said. Once Western kind of got down at their place, it kind of hurt us. But Western stayed right with them as far as field goal percentages. They both shot about 37%. La Tech shot 34% on threes. Western was at 26.7%. But the turnovers is probably the biggest thing that killed us. We had almost twice as many as La Tech. Just got to take care of the ball.
It's been killing us in every game. It's a problem. We can get into this when we get into the questions, but Stansbury's got to do whatever he can to eliminate that problem, because you're giving the other team what? They turned us over 8 more times.
Yeah.
8 more possessions. Let's say, even in that 37-point clip, that's probably 8 more point swing there.
At least,
that's
yeah.
huge. And then if you look at the free throw and everything else, and it's every loss, we're getting out by turnovers. Like, if you cut 3 or 4 against all those other losses that we had, we'd be undefeated in conference right now, or with 1 loss. Instead, we're just banging our head at the table. We're 500, and it's just, you want to see consistency. You want to see growth, and every time it looks like that's coming, we just get down our leg, as Jake would say.
Yeah.
And another thing with the turnovers is, one issue that they've always kind of had is that the teams that kind of bring in that 2-3 zone and keep Bassey kind of contained in the paint, it doesn't matter who's trying to throw him the ball. If he's got 3 people on him trying to get him the ball in the paint, that's usually not going to work well for Bassey. As good as he is, if you're swamped like that, you can't really do much with it. I know he's had some turnover troubles with that, but even in the USM game, I don't know if you guys saw this, but right at the end of the game, I think we were up by 5 or 6, and we were dribbling the ball out to end the game, and I think it was Savage traveled with the ball, gave USM the ball, and then they came and hit that 3 to make it a 2-point ball game with a few seconds left. They could have had a chance to almost either tie it and send it into overtime or win it if they got some crazy steal and a 3. So, it's just stupid, mindless mistakes like that that's really costing this team.
Yeah, I hate it for my boy Savage, but,
Bassey's only had 16 points, 8 for 8 on free throws, but only 5 field goal attempts. We've got to find a way to get that number doubled each game. He needs to get at least 10 field goal attempts. Granted, he does turn the ball over when he gets double teamed, but we should learn how to. That's the next adjustment. We got to learn how to minimize turnovers when we throw it into him, or take advantage by him dishing it out and somebody slashing like Anderson to come in and make a play. It's just the offense has to find a way to be more functional, because teams D down on us and we just grind to a halt if we're not turning the ball over and running. It's just,
I agree.
Our half-court offense is just dreadful sometimes.
Oh, I agree completely. I think my biggest thing is once Bassey's locked down, it's almost like we're kind of crippled in a way. I feel like, and I guess I go ahead and jump into some of the questions here. So, would the Twin Towers, this question comes from John Leonard on Facebook. I'm going to do my Rome impression and flip my pages. The Twin Towers, should Charles and Tulu played at the same time? What do y'all think? I'll go to Ross first.
I'll go
Okay,
first.
yeah, just call
Sure.
it somebody because I keep
I
waiting.
think-
I'll let Ross go.
I think yes, depending on the matchup.
Okay.
So obviously, if we're playing another tall team and we're getting by with, Anderson or whoever or Banton at the 4, and we can outquick somebody, great. But if like I think we went on our run when we had the Twin Towers in there against a smaller team. So matchup wise, yes, and I think if they can learn how to play together in the post, they can really complement each other. You throw it into Bessie, and then he dishes it to Smith. Smith could get an easy lay-in or easy putback, and teams aren't going to be able to deal with that size. And it kind of takes some pressure off Tulu, who doesn't really look that comfortable at the 5 ever. So I would love to see that in spurts.
Okay, Jared, I'll let you go, and then I'll throw my 2 cents in.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, as far as like kind of feeding off of whatever kind of matchup you would have on the inside, I mean, having the 2 bigger guys, I mean, that definitely helps. It also depends on how Tolu's doing too, because I mean, he has those games where he looks really confident, and he did really good at Louisiana Tech trying to get to the line, but he missed all of his free throws just about, which is another thing that he could probably improve on. But I mean, I think it's a pretty cool thing to be able to do, to have 2 of your big guys in there, and that way you have that size in the paint. But I mean, if Tolu's not going to be at the level that he would be like helping the team like get to where they need to be, then I mean, it's fine just using Anderson, at least in my opinion.
I mean, I agree with you guys. The only stipulation I have, I guess, kind of listening to your opinions is A, do we have to worry with Tulu and free throws? We'd have a Shaq, which I'm not for. And then the second thing would be, would having 2 big men inside, would that wear down our offense or defense a little bit? Because you got to think, if we have both those guys in there, are they conditioned enough in order to, be able to handle the workload, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense, but I think, if we play the right defense, you have those 2 low post players, teams aren't going to be able to go inside against us, which kind of would be great. Great, and then you could see a little bit in that last game. You played Horton and Moo a little bit as well, so maybe he's finally getting some confidence in the rest of the front line where, okay, well, you go big, you play, Batty and Smith, and then you can play the hot hand between Anderson, Savage, Hollingsworth, Bearden, and Banton. You can mix up the lineups a little bit where some guys like Savage, when they're having bad nights, or Hollingsworth when he's just worn out, you can give some guys breaks where you couldn't do that before when you wouldn't even play Smith at the 4.
I agree. I think it's a possibility to answer your question, Mr. Leonard. But I think a 2-2-1 could work, or I guess it would actually be a 1-2-2 or a 2-1-2. But of course, you're going to have the fans that are going to gripe, let the coach, yada yada yada. But that's what we're here for. We're going to speculate. That's what you're going to hear. Another question we got, talking about lineups. How long before Bearden enters the starting lineup? Jared, why don't you take it, buddy?
Well, I have some good news for you because I think it was on Monday, Coach's radio show. He said that Bearden was going to be in the starting lineup to replace Banton now. So it'll be interesting to see how he does now being the initial guy right off the bat, to see if that kind of fuels him and maybe motivates him a little more to play better. But and hopefully it'll motivate Banton too, because I mean he's been starting just about all season, and now he's got that taken away from him. Usually, like that's the kind of stuff that should fuel young players to try to be like, oh well, I'm going to try to earn that back and go out and play really well with the minutes they get. But it's a good decision from Stansbury. I think it's about time to have that senior leader on the court, especially with the passing, try to eliminate some of those turnovers. But yeah, I think it's a good decision.
Ross, what's your opinion, buddy?
I 100% agree with Jared. I think if you look at what kills us when we, come out of the locker room terrible, it's stuff like turnovers. It's bad shots. It's people like Banton pressing, not like the defense pressing, but pressing, trying to do too much, so let the game come to him. I think Bearden has proven that A, he knows how to limit turnovers, which is number one, and B, he knows how to get his teammates involved a little bit better. You got somebody like Ben coming off the bench. He knows, okay, I can't make turnovers now because I'm not gonna automatically start coming out of the locker room. I'm not going to automatically play. He only got 12 minutes against Louisiana Tech because he had 4 turnovers again. Maybe this lights him a little bit of fire too. And like I've said in previous weeks, he should play the hot hand between the two of those as those point guards because neither of them have proven enough to say, hey, you deserve 90% of the minutes. We need to play the hot hand. Both of them can shine and depending on the moment. So let's go with the senior leader and then let's ride him. And then Ben's going to be our point guard of the future. He's just got to get a little bit more confidence. So
completely agree. That question actually came from Jack Watson, huge supporter of the show. So appreciate it, Jack. Keep those questions coming at us, buddy. I guess the next question, I'll go to the Topper Takeover on Twitter. Is this team capable or likely to win 4 games in the next 4 days in Fresco? Let's see. Who do I have? Ross, I'll let you go, bud.
If it's 4 days, I don't think we're capable because we've only had a 3-game winning streak 3 times as our top. But if we can find a way to get in that top 4 in Conference USA, I think we can win 3 and 3. Anything's possible with that. It's just, the team hasn't shown they can consistently win 4 games because they haven't done it yet. So let's take care of business at home this week, and then we got a very winnable road game the following Thursday against Rice, and then get that showdown against North Texas the following Saturday. Let's turn that corner.
Jared,
UTSA this week, and then you take that momentum from there.
Yeah. Sorry, Ross, didn't mean to cut you off. Jared, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, not being able to get past a 3-game winning streak is another thing that's not very good. After surviving Harper Mania, I know that nothing is impossible in the conference tournament, but still, this team, I don't know. The depth is still kind of an issue. He has the depth, but he needs to try to get them some more experience and more playing time, and especially next month. Because the more that they could be primed and ready to possibly contribute something off of the bench is something that could help them in the conference tournament when Hollingsworth is 3 games into the conference tournament completely gassed after playing 38 minutes a game. And it's good to have someone like Jake Omer or Gambrel or one of those guys to maybe get some decent minutes in a game, whether it be at home or on the road, depending on the situation and what the score is. But he needs to get his guys used to that, in my opinion, if he wants to have a chance at winning a conference title. Because the way that things are looking now, I don't see us getting that first day by. So he definitely needs to get his bench ready.
Yeah, I agree. We've had 3 3-win streaks this year. Started first against UT Martin, finished against West Virginia, got crushed at Central Florida. Then we started again at St. Mary's to Charlotte, losing to ODU, and then we had FAU through USM and losing to La Tech.
We led all those games at halftime, by the way, that we lost in the 4th one.
That's a good stat. Appreciate that, Ross. My thing is, I want to say yes, that we can get a 4-game win streak, but the pattern that we've got going so far is no. Sorry, guys. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen. Next question comes from Greg Ross on Facebook. How many do we have to win to make the Conference USA tourney? Let's see, how many games are we out? We're out 2 games. We're 2 games back. So, let's see.
Just to make the tournament?
It says, how many do we have to win to make the Conference USA tournament?
All we have to do is not finish in the bottom 2. So,
okay.
Out of the 14 teams, 12 teams make it. What's the least successful team? UTEP has 1 win in conference, right?
Actually, Charlotte, MTSU, and UTEP are the bottom 3. Wouldn't it be great?
So we finished with more wins than those 2 teams, and then we're good. Or those 3 teams.
So I'm just going to throw some shade. Wouldn't it be awesome if the Mutts didn't make Conference USA tourney? I'm just saying.
That would be incredible.
I'd love it. Now,
I'll give Kermit Davis was a hell of a coach, and man, that roster got stripped bare after he left.
I mean, something's going on there.
Yeah, and if you look at Ole Miss and how they've done this year, I mean, he's definitely turned their program around really fast too. He's pretty good. But I will say, like, whatever happens in the conference, I'm okay with. The one thing that is completely unacceptable to me to happen, whether on the road or at home, is to lose to MTSU. If the guys lose to MTSU at any point this season, that is when I will be like, shut it down. This is a rebuild year. This is terrible. Because this is our year where we're supposed to slaughter them. This is when we get our revenge for the Bowling Green Massacre a couple years ago when they thrashed us for almost 30 points in Diddle Arena. That can never,
Well, we
never
play
happen.
them on the 14th at home of February.
Yes. So Valentine's Day, y'all mark your calendars. So the big three that we have to beat, UTSA. I mean, we probably have to win most of these games anyway. But UTSA, North Texas, and UAB are going to be our toughest opponents coming up.
Here's the crazy thing about UTSA. So I mean, we want to get on the next what's coming up on the schedule.
Okay.
UTSA has really played well since their star player Javon Jackson came back from injury. I mean, they had a pretty terrible non-conference, but since then they've really lit it up. Played a lot of games at home, but the one of the teams they lost to on the road was a pathetic MTSU team with 5 wins on the season. Like, that game made 0 sense. So if everything holds the form, you know, UTSA isn't really a good road team. We need to take care of business on Thursday.
Yeah. Let's hope we can get those guys. Slip them in and get there and beat the crap out of them. But so if we
got to get our 3-point defense right if we want to do that, though.
Yeah, which I don't know if we can do that, honestly. But okay, let's see here. Let's see if I've gotten every question. I've got one question left. Alan Mansfield, sorry, buddy, we're not going to answer it this week. So next week, a little hot take, quick preview for you. I'm going to have Matt on the show. Matt is going to do his Matt stats and cover what is the efficiency breakdown per 5-minute segment in each half, as far as assist to turnover ratio, points and rebounds, etc. First off, I can speak for myself. I don't know about you two guys, but I'm not a stats guy. Matt he's a complete statistician. I guess being working for an insurance company, it kind of does that to you. But I don't do that at all. So we're going to let him cover that question next week. So I hope y'all join us then, and let's talk some stats next week with Matt. But as far as turnovers to assists and all over that, I feel like we need to get our turnovers under control. It seems to be
That's number one. If we do that, everything else will follow.
Yeah, I mean, so far, season-wise, we have 312 turnovers. Good gravy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that hurts. So, as far as I'm concerned, if we got our turnovers taken care of, I believe that we would be okay. We could survive the 3-point onslaught. We could survive. Not saying we could, we would be doing excellent, but 312 turnovers for how many games have we played so far? 21? That is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it hasn't improved. Like,
no.
Okay, you can blame some of it on, you've got Bassey and Fandrew who both turnover machines. Why aren't we adjusting our strategy? And maybe starting Bearden is the first part of that. But, like, if I was Stansberry, I would just drill their heads. There are 2 things I would do. Don't be careless with the ball. Come out of the locker room ready to play. Those are the 2 things I would focus on. And if you get beat doing both of those things, then tip your hat. But, like, let's see, turnovers per game. I'm looking at RS 350. I'm trying to find how bad we're ranked in this statistic.
Right?
We are in the bottom 300, or we're in the bottom 50 of the 353 teams.
That's bad. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would like to see, though, is that if getting the ball to Bessie in the paint is going to be so much an issue, like, let him go and play on the perimeter just a little bit. He's got a soft touch for a big guy. He's got onions. He can make the three when he needs to. There was some games, I think it's a UCF game, he had a whole bunch of them. So, I mean, even if it's just kind of testing the waters and see if he can do some stuff out there and maybe have some other plays designed and then go into the paint, having that dual threat can help them a lot. But, I mean, that's just, he's got a soft touch, though.
I will
I'd love to see
say,
him on that pick and roll. That'd be great.
yeah, that would be that's one of those things that just makes you excited. Actually, I thought Bassie's free throw percentage was a lot better, but apparently he's at like 76%. He's right
That's pretty
behind
good for a
Allsworth.
big man.
Oh, I'm good with that. Don't get me wrong. I love that. Of course, the bad thing is we were talking about the Twin Towers, which love the reference, but the Toulouse Smith is at 48%. So the dude's basically going 1 for 2 every time he shoots. Shoots 2. But actually, I was wrong. How is this? Is okay. Jared Savage is shooting 83% field goals. So
Like free throws or field goals?
it says free
It has
throws.
to be free throws.
It's
It has
free
to be
throws.
Okay, I was going to say there's no way he's shooting.
No, field goals, he's at 37%.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he had that one game, he was like 1 of 11. And I was like, man, I could do better than that. Come on.
Okay, nobody can beat this. Matt Horton is 100% field goal percentage.
Man, why is he not starting? Put him out there right now. He's going to be the other Twin Tower. Have both of our 6'11 players out there at the same time. Put Horton out there.
So he hasn't missed a
I mean,
single shot.
I think somebody like Horton could buy Bassie, 5 to 10 minutes a game, and that's. I mean, you can tell when Bassie gets tired is another time when he turns the ball over, specifically in the second half.
I mean, that's
You got to find ways to buy him some breaks. It's just killing him.
and that's my biggest gripe with Stans is he likes to play his guys. Those are the guys he's going to play. You may get 1 or 2 breaks a game, but that's it. Nobody, 1 to 2 guys is coming off the bench. That's it. And it sounds bad, but I'm almost a platoon-esque guy because I would rather have, 9 guys getting some form of, large chunks of playing time rather than, the 5, and then you have Bassie who's, turnovers or whatever you want to call it or whatever issue he's having. I would rather see more people getting playing time than just the select few.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, I know we're kind of going quick tonight. I guess it's because of the cold. We're all just trying to stay on top of things. We are going to rank our favorite Bowling Green restaurants. Now, mine might be a little skewed or seem old. That's because I haven't really eaten Bowling Green in the past few years. And if I do eat somewhere, I don't go to a lot of different places. My parents they would go to McDonald's or Rafferty's, and that was their 2 places they went to. So we never ate out when I lived.
You live down there.
And when I lived down there, we went everywhere. My wife and I would go to several different places. Of course, she's one of these kind of weirdos that doesn't like to go to new places, so it would be a struggle for me to get her to go places. But I'm gonna do Jake's. Jared will let you do yours real quick, and then Ross will shoot to you. Jake's first one. I'll read it because I had him text these in. And if you have the same ones, no big deal. Number 5 for Jake is Overtime because it's rowdy and the wings are okay. The only time I've ever eaten at Overtime, I didn't even eat there. We went in, there was no room. It was, it was just nah, this ain't for me. Hilligan's because they have a good greaseball pizza and cheap beer. Whatever. Number 3,
Rest in peace, Froggies.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3, I don't think you can count this, but I'm going to let him go because he's not here tonight. Gads. That's Great American Donut Shop, right? Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I thought he was meaning Gaddy Land, and I was like, well, that's closed. But Great American Donut Shop? Sorry, Jake, that didn't count. Number 2, Lost River.
Last time I went through to Bowling Green.
Do it now?
last time I drove through Bowling Green, I had some Gads.
I mean, it's
good.
easy. Yeah, I mean, Gads is great, but I don't consider it a restaurant. But, you know, he's not here. I can't give him grief about it. Number 2, Lost River Pizza. Is it good? I've never had it.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Deep dish.
Deep dish.
Yes, that is good stuff.
Oh my gosh, the deep dish I think is good about anywhere, but I think next time I come down I will have to try that. And number 1
Chicago style if you get it.
Oh really? Okay, that is exciting. I have not had their Chicago style. Number 1 is the Double Dogs or Montana Grill, which I think Montana Grill is great, but and it's actually one of the top ones on my list too. So I can't say much, but it's really expensive. But Double Dogs, I couldn't get into Double Dogs.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I've eaten there a couple of times, and I wasn't super impressed. But I mean,
The a la carte thing is what gets me. You know, everything is separate, and I'm like, just
give me a combo.
exactly. Make it simple. Jared, why don't you go ahead and do yours, buddy?
All right. So, I mean, I didn't want to pick total favorites, but I kind of have my favorites of like each like cuisine, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like
I'm sure this
Cheddar's.
doesn't count, but as a former barista, I have to mention the fact of Spencer's. I like Spencer's a whole lot. It's a really good place right downtown. Like they've expanded a whole lot too, and I think they've upgraded their kitchen. So I haven't tried much of their food yet, but it seems like it'd be pretty good. So shout out to Spencer's. I guess number 4 on my list, like. Just if you're thinking breakfast in Bowling Green, if you've ever been to Judy's Castle, now that is a good place. It's over off of 31, close to the
There's
intersection
no
of
hassle
Scottsville
with the
Road.
castle, baby.
They have huge country ham, and it's delicious. And I was impressed with what I had there. Mexican, with Mexican food, like I'm not one of the El Maz people or whatever there's in Bowling Green, because Franklin has pretty good Mexican food as it is. So shout out Sol Azteca, El Potrero, y'all are real. But if I'm in Bowling Green and I get some Mexican food, like Que Pasa Tacos is a newer place. It's right over next to Lost River Pizza. They got some pretty good tacos and just open 24/7. So if you're out at 3 a.m, you can go get a bunch of tacos and feel good about your life. So Que Pasa, I really like them a lot. They have a burnt avocado taco. Well, not burnt, but just like fried avocado. It's really good. One of my favorite restaurants in Bowling Green, I don't know if I'll put it as my favorite, but one of my favorites is Tsunami. It's one of the Vietnamese, like Asian cuisine places. It's over by where Barnes & Nobles is. It's like across the street from it in Bowling Green. And I really like it for the Vietnamese stuff they have. They have pho, which is like the giant bowl of like noodles and vegetables. It's like a soup. I always like drain it completely. It is so good. Like it's one of my favorite places. They have some really good stuff there. It's a good loner place. Like in the winter, like spring classes. That's where I would go a whole lot if I had a break between classes. It's really nice atmosphere too. But I mean, I really like what Jake said too. Lost River Pizza is amazing. Like the deep dish pizza, like you said, Ross, that Chicago style. I mean, that'll keep you fed for a while, and it's really good. But also, like, I think they only do it during football season, but their wings are really, really good. Like, they have the all-you-can-eat wings that you start off with, like, 6 or so, and they have a bunch of good sauces, and that you can keep trying different kinds and boneless and just however, and you just keep going until you can't eat anymore. So Lost River's really good. I like it a whole lot. So those are my favorites.
Yeah. Hey, if you got to run, buddy, you just go ahead. Jared, with being the musical man and talented guy he is, sometimes he's got to do his music practice for his church band. So, hey, if you got to run, buddy, you can do it. Ross.
I may disappear. We'll see. I want to hear what y'all say first.
Okay. Hey, Ross, go ahead. Let's hear yours, buddy.
So he took a couple of mine. So I've got 5. Ichiban over there on.
Yes.
I forgot about Ichiban. I forgot Samurai too. What is wrong with me?
Hey, that's another one of mine. But
the
yeah.
white sauce there, the chicken bowl, the sushi. I mean that, for somebody who didn't really grow up eating a lot of Asian food, like that place was just cheap and amazing. And it's I've gone back recently since college, and it's still good. So that place is great.
Shout out the fire roll. Have you ever had the fire roll?
Yeah, the one where they light the thing on fire.
Yes, that was my first thing.
Yeah.
That was my first experience with sushi. Was that roll? But go ahead, buddy. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. A pizza place is actually a chain, but discovered in the last couple of years through my buddies is Donato's Pizza there in Bowling Green. Probably one of the best pizzas you'll ever have. Pretty solid right there. I think kind of off of Cemetery Road.
Okay.
Barbecue place, hole in the wall, Smoky Pig over off Louisville Road. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. That place is amazing. Just you would never have heard of it unless you've driven past it. But it's I think I had it. It was still good. They have some weird barbecue there too. You can get like shoulder and stuff like that you can't really get everywhere else. So good Tompkinsville style barbecue, which had no existence on with the school down there.
Cool.
Another Bowling Green staple I like, Mariah's. I know they moved since I was in college, but they're still great. Just tried and true Bowling Green local restaurant.
I thought they closed.
Number one, I go ahead.
I said, did they close? I thought Mariah's had closed.
They moved from the square to right next to the ballpark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been there since they moved. It is really good still.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Ross. Not to interrupt you.
So I remember in college with Mariah's, they had like the 30-year anniversary or whatever, and they were doing all these like trick things. I remember I was eating all these prime rib sandwiches like once a week there because it was their stuff's so good. So number one, I had Judy's Castle, but Bowling Green, what I loved more than anywhere I've gone about Bowling Green is they have those little cheap breakfast places where you can get a breakfast piece for like under $8. Another one over kind of in the hood, Teresa's.
Yes.
And the funniest thing, I don't know if you guys have ever been in Teresa's. They got this picture of this. We shouldn't laugh about it, but it is this guy who passed away. I guess he was like related to the owners or whatever. It's this guy with like a white tee and a smile. I always laughed about it. And Teresa's is just a great little breakfast place over there. I guess that's kind of off Louisville Road too, but it's kind of in a weird part of town. But
yeah,
Bowling Green's got some good food.
Yes, it does. I have eaten at Teresa's, and I agree it is in a very unusual part of town. But it feels like one of those old country stores. Almost feels as what is my take on it. So my top five. My wife and I, our first date was at Ichiban. It's not on my list.
Yes.
But that was my first experience with sushi, and now I don't do fish, but I do like sushi, if that makes sense. I do the crab shrimp instead of the fish. So my number 5 is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Classic.
Yeah, it's classic.
They have a new one now too. It's over by the mall.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's brand new. I think it opened a month ago.
Did it move, or do they have 2 locations now?
I don't know. Do they have 2, or is there just one?
I'm not entirely sure on that. I think they just may have moved locations. It's not really much bigger than the place that they have now, which is kind of weird. But they renovated. I think it may have been like the Applebee's or one of those kind of places that never was really successful into Buffalo Wild Wings. So I haven't gone to it yet, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
Funny thing, real quick, Devin.
No, you're good.
Buffalo Wild Wings in Bowling Green. I remember first time I went there in college. They had Western stuff on the walls, but they had some outside decorator decorating the place. They had a Bowling Green State, like Ohio jersey on the wall, and that always cracked me up that was there for all those years.
That is really funny, actually. Some corporate person just threw that on the wall and had no idea. But actually, you're talking about Buffalo Wild Wings. Funny story, my wife and I went after the Toby Keith concert, not Toby Keith, Montgomery Gentry, like 100 years ago. And it took over an hour and a half for us to get seated. And so she had a very deep resentment towards that place because of that. So number 4 for me is Samurai. Love Samurai. Yes. Their hibachi is always, it's good and it's not as expensive as Shogun. I know I may catch some flack for not putting Shogun on my list, but
their fried rice is incredible too.
Yes, it is. And they do potatoes in their hibachi fried rice stuff, which not many places do.
Interesting.
Another one for me, number 3, is Rafferty's. I think it's more for nostalgia. When I was growing up, that's where my parents wanted to go. They always took us to Rafferty's. I never really understood why they liked it or where they got started on it. Number 2 is Outback.
Oh, yes.
So my running theory, I don't know if I've told you all this, but Asian places have Asian people working there. I say Outback should have Australians working there.
Agreed.
So it would just go with the theme. I'm just saying.
There's enough students
It's a lot
Western
harder
from
to find
Australia
immigrants
that
from Australia, though.
Yeah, I mean, but, luckily there's no walls or anything to keep the Australians out. Number 1 is Montana Grill. I know it's burnt down, 2 or 3 times now, I don't know. But the jalapeno cornbread is by far is what puts that on my list. It's
right.
It's expensive, but it's good.
Worth it.
It's worth it, though. That's a good investment. That's good stuff.
Exactly.
I've got one RIP for Old Bowling Green restaurant that's no longer with us.
Okay, what is it, buddy?
Toots.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
man.
dudes. I would always get their wings for Super Bowl parties. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I actually, because I was kind of a shut-in, I guess, my family never went to Toots, but my cousins did, and when it disappeared, I was just like, I wanted to go there so bad, but R.I.P. Toots.
Murfreesboro has a Toots and we don't. Sad day.
Oh, straight
I think
biddies.
it's really sketch, too.
Yeah, it would have to be sketch to be in Murfreesboro.
We always asked, growing up, why Bowling Green never had a Hooters or anything, and it was always that kind of blew my mind. And then I looked into it one day. It's you've got to be within an X amount of population. So Richmond, Kentucky has one, and we don't. And we had Toots at least, and then now we don't have either. So
Yeah, that is. I mean, I've eaten at Hooters, and I didn't think it was worth it. I mean, as bad as that sounds. I don't know if that's blasphemy, but it's, whatever. I think Hooters is expensive as all get out. Considering they throw the gratuity in with the check, but, it's whatever. But that's all I've got for you tonight. I don't know what you're messing with, dude. You got pills over there or something?
I think that was I stepped on my daughter's little reading thing. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was going to say,
Yeah,
is it antidepressant pills or something because of how bad we're doing?
No. It's a little singing elephant that as she turns the page it reads. But I would say let's hope for a good Super Bowl this weekend. I know you guys are cheering for the Patriots to lose. I just want a good game, and then let's go 2-0 this weekend with the Tops. So
yes,
that's all I've got.
Jared's hero is playing this weekend. Tom Brady, and Jared will probably be watching from his favorite restaurant, Cheddar's. So we'll be good.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Don't forget to check the Towel Rack guys out on Towel Rack, or at Towel Rack on Twitter. And they do daily articles and everything, so check them out. They do a lot of good work following the tops in the news and such. Follow us at Redout1906 on Twitter. Follow the podcast, like, and subscribe for more episodes, guys.
Rate us. Let's get some rankings.
Yeah.
Some comments.
Yes, we need some ratings to help us on iTunes. So we're getting up there. We're almost hitting the 1,000 download mark. So hit us up, guys. And as always, go Tops.
Go Tops.